This is the demonstration video for how to install the air pressure gauge and in-cab switch in one of the alternate locations. This is a panel out of a 011 Rubicon. In the 011 Rubicon, we cannot use the location to the left of the steering column because it is occupied by the locker switches, and some guys will want to mount the switch panel in the A-pillar location. So if that's the case, then you're going to need to mount this in-cab pressure gauge and switch in this location. What I've done is I've taken this backing plate template and used it to determine where to cut. I had to grind down all of this area flat to get the plate to fit flush. Then I'm going to use a piece of softwood as a backer, and then I'm going to clamp this guy in place, and I will drill my first hole using a 1/2-inch bit. And now what I'll do is pull this clamp off. I'm going to flip this template around. I'm going to temporarily install the pressure gauge. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to get this guy into place on the template. I'm going to take 3 of the included washers here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a compression fitting on here, and this will hold everything nice and tight in place for the drilling of our next hole. I'm going to go ahead and put another backer on here. Clamp it and drill the next hole. And we've got our next hole drilled there. Now what we can do is pull this compression fitting off. Carefully pull the pressure gauge off. This is the up orientation, and I'm going to have the pressure gauge on top. So this backing plate needs to be turned around. You need to determine the correct orientation for this pressure gauge, and you can try in different places. You can see that doesn't quite line up square. What you can do is you can turn this plate over, and there it fits perfectly. So it all depends on these pressure gauges are all different, so just try whichever way fits the best. Then we know which way our backing plate goes on. Go ahead and insert our pressure gauge. Go ahead and insert our pressure gauge. Put our washers back on. Now we're going to tape this pressure gauge and get it ready to install the brass compression fitting. Next we will go ahead and get our pressure gauge pressed in. Make sure that all your drilling and your grinding and all that's pretty clean, so you can get that pressure gauge to fit into the backing plate. That backing plate is what stops it from turning when you go to put the compression fitting on. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the pressure switch to help hold the backing plate in place while we tighten the compression fitting. Now we're going to go ahead and put 3 washers on there and install our compression fitting. And then once that compression fitting starts to seat in there, the backing plate will stop the pressure gauge from turning. And there you have it, pressure gauge and switch installed.